carbaminoform from the blood. And second point is the increased acidity of hemoglobin cause it to release excess hydrogen ions, and this bind with bicarbonate to form carbonic acid, and this then dissociate into water, carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide is released from the blood into alveoli and finally into air. So this all mechanisms already covered, same the detail. So finally here we have the changes in blood gases during hypo and hyperventilation. So mainly the arterial blood gas ABG measurement is a commonly used technique for measurement of either partial pressure of oxygen or carbon dioxide or pH and also even bicarbonate. So this measurement requires an arterial blood sample of few millimeters and just it's reliable and even easily reproducible procedure. Hypoventilation may lead to damage in actually the causes of hypoventilation are due to any damage in respiratory muscles, spinal cord injuries, myasthenia gravis or chest wall injuries, kyphoscoliosis, airway obstruction, high altitude alveolar hypoxia. So both hypoventilation and ascent to high altitudes cause alveolar hypoxia, decrease arterial PO2 and increase carbon dioxide level in the blood. This is called hypercapnia. We already discussed in our hypoxia. And hyperventilation will lead to respiratory acidosis, which mainly reduce the pH with elevated carbon dioxide, and this is compensated by renal bicarbonate retention and excretion of H plus ions by kidneys. And acid base nomograms, that is Davenport diagram, is plotting pH, carbon dioxide and bicarbonate. So it is mainly used for understanding, interpreting the mixed respiration, metabolic acid base distribution. And hyperventilation is the rate of alveolar ventilation is increased more than the rate of carbon dioxide production by metabolic pressure here. This leads to decrease in arterial partial pressure of carbon dioxide level below the normal of partial pressure carbon dioxide range, that is like 37 to 43 millimeters of mercury. And we need to differentiate the tachypnea and hyperpnea with this, because tachypnea is nothing but increase in respiratory rate, whereas hyperpnea is increase in minute ventilation. So they should be differentiated by hyperventilation. Both tachypnea and hyperpnea do not cause changes in PCO2 levels, but whereas our hyperventilation cause changes in PCO2 levels. And this hyperventilation may be due to any excessive ventilation drive, either due to behavior problem or metabolic regulatory system, or any hypoxemia caused by pulmonary disease, pneumonia, cardiovascular diseases like congestive cardiac failure, metabolic disorders like acidosis, hepatic failure, or any neurological causes like psychogenic anxiety, or due to using any hyperventilation drugs like salicylates, beta adrenergic agonists, or miscellaneous causes like fever, sepsis, pregnancy, all this. And arterial PCO2 is very low due to hyperventilation, and it may lead to apnea because of reduced ventilatory drive, and carbon dioxide is produced by metabolic process will then bind up and restore ventilator drive. So chronic hyperventilation lead to respiratory alkalosis, and this condition is compensated by renal retention of hydrogen ions and excretion of bicarbonate, same like as our hypoventilation. So next, respiratory exchange ratio. So what is this? It's like 82% as much of carbon dioxide is expired from the lungs. Oxygen is taken up by the lungs. So the ratio of carbon dioxide output to the oxygen uptake is called respiratory exchange ratio. So you can see R is equal to rate of carbon dioxide output by rate of oxygen uptake. So for example, if a person is exclusively taking carbohydrates, then their R may rise to 1. Whereas if the person is taking more fats, then R may fall to 0.7. So actually why this is going on? Because oxygen is metabolized with carbohydrates. So one molecule of carbon dioxide is formed for each molecule of oxygen consumed. So when oxygen reacts with fats, a large share of oxygen combines with hydrogen atoms from the fats to form water instead of carbon dioxide. So in other words, when the fats are metabolized, respiratory quotient of chemical reactions in tissues is about like 0.70 instead of 1. So for a person on normal diet consuming average amount of carbohydrates, fats, proteins, the average values of R is 0.825. So this is important. The average value of R is 0.825. So by this we complete a complete overview of our respiratory physiology, that is our carbon dioxide transport.